Okay, so you've now got a hot wire cutter. You'll need to get yourself off down to B&Q to get some insulation foam. Other retailers are available. I've also been told there's some good stuff at Wix. I don't know, never used it. Might do in the future if I go there, but for now we'll stick to what I've used, which is the B&Q foam board, insulation board. So buy some of that. I think it's 2.4 meters long by about 350mm by 50mm, which is a bit annoying because I thought it was 450mm, which would have made a nice 900mm span wing. So if you want to do that, you've got to do it lengthways. Anyway, so you bought your foam board. You want to cut some wings. So what you need is an airfoil template to screw on each end. Now, for the purposes of the spec wing, let's see, we have, so on the RC groups there is a FPV WRA thread even, and here we some nice person G Klusky posted an actual PDF document with the airfoil at scale. So if you print this document, it's the right size. You don't have to. A lot of the time, people will put on, this is the airfoil you need to use, but it's kind of this small, and you need to scale it up in order to get a 9-inch cord. But this document is already at the right scale, so you literally download it and print it. So you have to bear with me, because I'm getting confused. I'm talking to the camera, but I'm hopefully recording a PC screen as well. And the screen of the camera is off to one side, so I'm going around like this to try and see the screen. Let's move you. So, download that, which we should already have one I prepared earlier. Is this going to work? So I'm using Foxit Reader. You can probably do the same thing with Adobe, but this one works for me. So I've opened up the file. Let's fit to page. So all you want to do is print this out, and then scaling needs to be none. Auto rotate on so it'll fit on the page. If it didn't set auto center, I think it will drop off the side. So print that, and you've now got a paper template. So that's what you do if you're going to do the spec wing. Now, you're obviously, if you're getting into this, you're not just going to do a spec wing, you're going to want to do other wings, other designs. So what you can do is this website, airfoiltools.com. Is very useful for doing any template airfoil you want. So if you go to the airfoil plotter, you can select airfoil, and luckily I've been on here to check what I'm doing. So the Clark Y is a very good airfoil for it's more of a glider kind of airfoil, so it's not going to, if you want something more acrobatic, this is not going to be a good airfoil, but it's a good one to kind of get started if you've never done any cutting before. Yeah. So I've lost Clark White. Where is it on there? Clark. That one. So the most important bit is the cord. So this is the length of the actual cord. So the length from front to back of your wing. On a flying wing, for instance a spec wing, you've got a 9-inch root chord, and then it tapers out to a 6-inch tip chord. So you need 2 different templates, different size templates. With a conventional like wing to go on a plane, you might just need 2 of the same size, so 2 7-inch templates. I think 180mm is about 7 inches. I think I did that. So 180mm. If you want to, you can increase the thickness, so it might be worth it. Because what you will find starting off is if the wing's too thin, cutting them tends to get, you end up, what am I trying to say? You'll end up with it kind of just the end of it just being all flaky, and it's very difficult to get that thin edge. Let's try the thickness of 150, see what it does. No, let's do 100 and then I'll show you the difference. Cunning. Click plot, and that is the actual airflow. So let's just change it to 150 and see if we see any difference. Yeah, so you see that's a lot fatter. To be honest, that does not look like it's going to fly very good to me. So let's try 110. Oh, that's quite nice. It might work. So you've picked your airfoil, you've plotted it. If you just click download PDF file, you get a download. Now I need to close this because I think it's a bit flaky for me, I don't know why. So it's a new download, 911, yeah. Open with Foxit Reader. Bosh, there you go. And again, this is the right size, so it's been scaled to print at that size you specified. The only downfall you'll have is if you specify it bigger than an A4 sheet. You'd probably have to try and tile it at that point. Scale none, and that's about it, yeah. So let's try that, doing it a big one, shall we? Let's do a chord of 500 just for the hell of it. Plot that. Oh, download. Downloads. Should be nice and big. File, print, scale none. So why? It's only doing page 1 of 1. Tile large pages. There you go. So yeah, need to tile it. I don't know if we can zoom in on that. Cut marks are probably good. So if you have cut marks, it gives you a guide. If you've done any of the flight test plans, they always have the cut marks, and you can line up the 2 pieces of paper easier. I hate putting those pieces of paper together. They all seem to kind of sort of don't sit flush when you tape them together. So I prefer, if I can, do it on one sheet of A4. So hopefully then you've got your templates printed out. Obviously you can't use that on the phone. You need to. This will be used as a guide to cut those templates out in something more sturdy. Things you can use, plywood or metal flashing is a lot of people use. I've seen people say they don't like using plywood because it tends to grab more. I actually found it better than the metal flashing which I'm using now. Metal flashing I find is a lot easier to kind of cut the template out, because if it's thin you can just cut it with scissors. So it's a lot quicker. I found with plywood the initial cut was fine, but you don't get it accurate enough, so I then spent ages sanding it down to get the airfoil smooth, so it's a lot quicker in that respect. And then I didn't find any issues with the Hotwire snagging on the wooden templates, whereas I do have issues with it snagging on the metal flashing templates. So that said, I probably should take more time on actually filing those out. It's all about experimentation. What I would say is, if you've got metal flashing and no wood, then try that, and vice versa. Right, so we'll do a cut now, and hopefully we'll go to the shed and I'll show you my templates and we'll go from there. Right, so I've got a couple of examples. These are probably the first ones I did, made out of ply, and it's a classic kind of Clark Y shape, which, as I said I think on one of the other videos, is quite a slow sort of kind of glider profile really. Gives a lot of lift, but it's not going to be an acrobatic wing. So what I did with this, because it's ply, I just used some wood screws, and you actually just sort of like screw that into the foam and it holds it really well. And I actually found these quite good. They do take a lot of time to get right, because when you're cutting that edge, I used, it's down there in the shed at the moment, a scroll saw, is it? I can't remember. There's a bandsaw, scroll saw, jigsaw. It's not a jigsaw, but I used that, and you can't get the line exact, so you end up having to sand it all down, and it took ages. So after that, I moved on to get on that in a minute, using some of this, which is some kind of thin sheet metal. Hopefully Andrew might see the video and comment on to actually what it is, and if Joe Public can find it somewhere. But Andrew got it for me from his work. But the good thing with this is you can glue your paper outlines onto this, so you can see they've got the kind of the remains of the previous ones on there. But then you just kind of get your scissors and kind of snip it off. Obviously you wouldn't be doing it that quick when you're doing an actual template, but it's a bit bent, it kind of bends, but you can bend it back and just put some holes in it then, and you pin it to your foam. And this is what I've got for the speckling templates. So there, you've got like a little sticky bit of plastic on the back of the metal, but they're from that metal there. And what I tend to do is, oh, not too far, put those holes in before you try to attach it to the foam. Otherwise you'll end up kind of sort of squashing the foam when you're trying to get a hole into the metal. So I think I actually used a nail to kind of hammer the hole out. It's slightly bigger than the pins that I use. Yes, so I've got some pins that go through these holes and hold the templates onto the foam. So I just thought I'd grab this from the shed. This is the foam board I bought from B&Q, where it contains, it's got 4 50mm boards, and the size of the ones I've got is 450, 1200 by 450 by 50. So yeah, Jablite universal insulation board, and yeah, it works quite well.